Minister. Ms. Bailey, thank you, and I appreciate what you said about manufactured housing. Let's dwell on not necessarily that, but just demand generally. We've seen reports that housing starts are up, but a $3,000 a month apartment in Washington doesn't help a low-income resident in East Cleveland. What kind of housing you're building and where, obviously, those things matter. In the housing, is the housing we're building matching up with incomes and size and accessibility needs of renters? If not, talk through that and what do we need to do to make sure we have enough housing that's affordable to families?
No, thank you for that question. You're hitting the nail on the head on the challenge. As I said in my testimony, we have partly been in a development boom over the last 18 months. But as the Joint Center for Housing Studies shows, the average rent in those multifamily properties is about $1,700 to $1,800 a month, where the median renter can only afford about $1,000 a month. So that right there shows you that the market is targeting units to the upper end of the market and not making units affordable. So what we need are strategies that both enhance supply and add capital dollars to supply, but then add subsidies to be able to make those units affordable so that we can properly operate those buildings, owners can pay their bills, and programs like that Housing Choice Voucher Program do that. They allow for renters, especially low and extremely low income renters, to be able to afford market housing.
Thank you. And Dr. Yoon, expand on what Ms. Bailey just said about making housing more affordable for families.
Certainly, the supply is required, and I know it's not a one-year solution, but we also have to combine the rental subsidy with the long-term supply solution. If one looks back in the U.S. history, there were times when we encountered a recession, and then we came out of the recession. Often when we came out of the recession, it was due to the housing production, building more apartments, building more single-family home. The recent Great Recession was a little different because housing market came slowly. The building activity came slowly with the small mom-and-pop builders really not re-entering the market. So if we look at in the past, we had a tremendous amount of economic boom as we built more homes, whether it's an apartment, single family, certainly it creates jobs, add to the economic impact, and certainly it would lessen the pressure on the housing costs, whether on the rent side or on the home prices. So, I think something to address that we need to boost supply. And then, of course, we have to address the short-term needs on the demand subsidy for people who are in that difficult situation.
Thank you. Continue on that, Dr. Yoon. We know the Fed's raised interest rates 3 times so far this year. They may do it again, people expect. Discuss what rising interest rates meant for homeowners in terms of their monthly cost. And then if you can, estimate how many people do you estimate this might push out of the home ownership market, and what effect does it have in the rental market?
So you combine the impact of the higher prices along with higher mortgage rate currently prevailing versus what it was just 1 year ago, or even December of last year. We estimate that monthly mortgage payment on a typical home in America has risen by close to 50%, 48%. Just consider, something and what people find very dear, trying to purchase a home, it has risen by 48% in our estimation from the changes in prices and mortgage rates.
That's the monthly payment goes up then.
Monthly payment for new set of buyers. Now, for existing homeowners who locked in, of course, their monthly
not
payment.
Not the price house, but the monthly payment.
Yes.
Okay, got it. So what effects does that have on the rental market then?
So naturally, we are seeing the home buying demand soften, which means that people who thought they had a chance to buy a home essentially being locked out, they have to renew their lease, and now we are seeing rental demand rising, which now is leading to rent acceleration. The official government data is showing rent rising about 5%, but many private sector information is saying rents are rising even faster than that. So right now we are in a very low vacancy rates for apartments, and consequently the rents rising, a heavy burden for renters.
Ms. Bailey, you want any additional thoughts on that?
Only that to just put a point on the fact that this is extremely important issue for extremely low and low income families, that the pressures, they feel the pressures the most, which leads to housing instability for them, including homelessness.
So pushing someone who was on the verge of buying a home back into the rental market or staying in the rental market, and the pressure that puts all the way down to lower income renters.
Exactly.
Thank
exactly.
you. Senator Haggerty,